this is Tim at Magnatech, and with me.
Ashley from Magnatech.
Yeah, and so we last week we did part one. It became part one of how to build a culture in a good workplace. And then after we got done filming, we came up with a few other things we wanted to talk about. So,
Mhm.
and we did mention we could talk about it all day, and we're not going to do that here, but we can at least spend the next maybe 15 minutes talking a little bit more specifically of what we've done or what we've tried to do here to try to build a culture and keep it healthy. Because
Sure.
it's one thing to say all these things and to provide like all the perks and all that. And I know, Ashley, you said it. I just did it. I always confuse them. Ashley, you did mention when I talked about like the kegerator and the
Mhm.
popcorn and the lunches and all of that. Spinning the wheel, doing some fun things. That hey, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
And you're right. And I responded by saying that it's all in the eye of the beholder. It's all personal opinion of really what your definition of culture is. But to get more specific, since you are the first person they interview,
Mhm.
um, uh, you're the first person that interviews them as
Sure.
well. What are some of the things you're hearing from prospective colleagues that stands out in terms of culture?
Sure. I mean, a big one that I hear a lot is that they're not being listened to or there's no room for growth. I hear that one a lot. Because no one asked them, hey, what is it that you want to be doing? What are your goals? It's kind of just like they're on this like wheel every day, just kind of doing the same thing day in, day out. I mean, I think at bigger companies, you run into that a little more because people kind of like fall into,
Right.
they kind of blend in with everyone else. But definitely, I think, yeah, the biggest things I hear are just like, yeah, that no one's hearing me. I'm not asked any, you know, I'm not asked for anything to solve problems. Like there's all of these issues that we're facing, but no one ever asked the me who's doing the job, like if I have any ideas for how to fix them.
Mhm. Well, I think it's a lot easier to build culture with a startup.
Right? There's only
Mm-hmm.
a handful of you,
Sure.
and people all get behind the initiative. Yeah, we don't
Mm-hmm.
have any money yet, but we believe in something. And when that happens, you just naturally will have a good culture and foundation from the beginning. It gets more difficult as you grow and scale, though, right?
Yes.
Because now what's happening is we're inviting new people into the organization that weren't there when the first brick was laid.
Right.
So they are seeing the messaging that we're putting out and they want to be part of it.
Mhm.
And we touched on that last week.
Yes.
But we still have to reinforce and build that. So and we are busy. It's very easy when you're very, very busy to lose focus and lose sight of what's important.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, and I'm guilty of it. Sometimes you lose focus of culture when we need a lot of high output production.
Sure.
It's really busy.
Or there's something happening.
So months have gone by. We haven't spun the wheel of destiny. Like and those are things we used to do, but we stopped for whatever reason. And it's not like we did it on purpose. It's just that we get caught up in the day to day.
Sure.
And so we have to dedicate, someone like Ashley to make sure that we're doing it.
Yes.
Because I get stretched thin, like every other business owner out
Sure.
there. We've all felt it. And so I had to delegate that, and that's why I needed somebody like Ashley who shared my values, who understands, gets it. She knows where I'm coming from, and she can continue to carry the flag when I'm not here. And that's really, really important. And so you do that now.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
You check in with people how often?
Quarterly at least, but I make myself pretty available to anyone at all times. I think everyone on the team feels pretty comfortable coming to me with things if they wanted to talk about something, from my perspective. But I also say it all the time, like if this is important to us, then we will make time for it. I say that a lot.
Mhm.
And I know that like the business has to come first, and we are running a business and we run a service-based business. So it's not always possible to like drop everything we're doing and have these conversations, but I do believe if you schedule them, if you make them a part of so if I want to touch base with someone on our team, I try to schedule it out. I put it on their calendar a couple weeks out or even a month or plus out, just so then we're making it important, we're scheduling it into our day.
Well, and here's the other thing. We're at full employment, okay? your people can go anywhere. They can get a job anywhere. If somebody can leave your company today and have a job tomorrow. It's that easy. And so we have to do more to sell to the people who are here to stay. Retention is equally as important as acquisition. And so it doesn't matter how many people you're bringing in if your churn rates are high.
Right.
It just doesn't work. And then you have to retrain and you have to do all this. Meanwhile, the work's not getting done. And so, that becomes a big problem. So it's like once you get them, you got to dig your claws in. And even when we speak about my management style and the things that I've done, I'm a spitballer. I think out loud. I think by group. I believe in the whole Magnatech as a democracy, which is a nice play on words. I get the vote of everybody. I get the input of everybody around me of how that could affect them. Like tell me, like PTO policy. We were working on our handbook.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a section in there about paid time off. Ashley and Mike came up to me and said, "What do you want the PTO policy to be?" What did I say?
I think you said.
Who wrote it? I turned it around and I said,
"Oh
see,
yeah, like I think you just said, what do you think it should be?"
Well,
is that what you said?
I mean, look, as the owner of the company, like, does the PTO policy really apply to me?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Like, if you're a business owner, look, you can come and go as you please.
That's
like,
correct.
You kind of earned that right.
Yeah.
But as far as like, I'm not going to sit there and legislate the policy. Like, why don't you and Mike put it together of what you think it should be?
Yeah.
You're an employee, so is Mike, so am I, really. But everybody get a general idea of what you think will make sense to everybody.
Sure.
Write me a proposal, and then from there, I relinquish control. I delegate. I allow my people to make decisions. Bring it to me, and if I think it's good, I'll bless it, and we'll put it in action. That's it. And that's what we did, and I don't think anybody had a problem with that.
Well, no, our PTO policy is unlimited PTO. I don't think anyone has a problem with it.
Nobody's gonna have a problem with that.
But the reason that Mike and I decided on that is because we're very flexible, we're very accommodating, we understand that people have lives outside of work. There was not PTO requests that weren't being approved. So it was kind of like, why don't we just like put this in writing so everyone feels comfortable, everyone understands, and then it's also a perk that we can sell to potential candidates.
Look, it's unlimited with a caveat, right?
Well,
if
yeah,
the work's not getting done and you're way behind,
right, that's different.
We're gonna pay attention.
Right,
when it starts to get abusive, right? And that's just anybody. It's not us being restrictive, but it's like, look, I'm gonna give you as much time as you want.
Or need.
But you got to give me something.
Sure.
Give me something to work with, right? And then I will go to bat for you. That kind of thing. Just get me on your side or get Magnatech on your side, and Magnatech will be very good to you. And so that's the approach that we came up with. The other thing was, round table type thinking and strategy. I don't have all the answers, and I've got a lot of really talented people here who have great ideas. So I empower them to provide those ideas to me, and that's the democracy part, right? I want to get everybody's opinion. I want to know what they think, but at the end of the day, I could still make the ultimate decision, and I might go completely against them, and but I at least heard everybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You give them the opportunity to be heard. You created a space where everyone can talk openly and honestly and share their thoughts and opinions.
Right.
It's not like Tim sitting up in this office in the sky and looking down at everyone and being like, I call all the shots here. Like, Tim is not doing that.
That doesn't work.
He's like including everyone who works here, regardless of like what their role is here, in decisions that affect all of us day to day.
I've left companies before Magnatech because I felt like I wasn't listened to.
Well, I hear it all the time.
My suggestions went to the bottomless pit, and I thought I had really good ideas. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put those in action. Mm-hmm. But that's, to your point, exactly right. We want to make sure that everyone is heard, and then we'll make a decision. I believe George Washington managed his cabinet the same way. He allowed them to go at it and beat things up, and then he ultimately made the decision. So I read about and the reason why I bring up George Washington is, it's somebody everybody knows.
Right.
He was a phenomenal leader, and and I study leaders and how they behaved and what they did and stuff like that. And I thought he had a pretty successful run. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I guess in terms of, wrapping this up, because I know we wanted to touch on a couple of other ideas. We talk about our values, and I think we've left that out as specific. We talk about it all the time, but on our north wall, which I mentioned a week ago, we've got these pillars, and just, believing in those things, incorporating them into your day-to-day. Look, I wrote those, but it doesn't mean that there aren't other pillars that maybe have evolved, right?
Sure.
It's like a tree, and sprouts come and like another branch will be made. So over time, that could change.
Right.
The company is an evolution. But did you want to touch on that? I know you wanted to maybe touch on the pillars a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, if you were a business owner and you're trying to build this culture, I think it's important that you have an understanding of what your values, what your mission statement is. You need to have a really good understanding of what that is before you can include other people in those conversations. Tim, I believe you have a very good understanding of what it is, and I think you have probably since the beginning, seems to me. So it's important that pretty much anyone who's in a leadership role on the team is standing behind those 100%. Because if we're not behind them, why would anyone else get behind them? So I really do think it's important that we live by those things each day. And as Tim said, we do talk about them daily. They come up in conversation all of the time. I know when Mike and I meet to discuss things, we have the pillars sitting out, they're written out on a piece of paper, and we make sure that everything that we're kind of talking about and thinking about, we're living by that, because that's where it starts. And in order to get the buy-in, we have to show that we're just as committed as everyone else.
Well, even in our name, MAGNI, Magna means great. And I've learned even from my own business coach that good is the enemy of great. And so we just didn't want to be good, we wanted to be great. And so it takes a commitment to those pillars and those values to drive that home. Because look, we can teach the technology. If you want to get better at Microsoft Azure and the cloud and 365 and Teams, SharePoint, if you want to get really, really good at that, we can put you through some training. That's easy.
Yeah.
Do you have the drive
Sure.
to want to do that because you believe in the mission, you believe in what we do here? It's all that extra stuff that does matter.
Yeah.
Because anybody can go work at a managed service provider and do what we do.
Yep.
But they're not us. They're not us.
Yeah.
And so the big selling point of working with Magnatech, whether you want to come on as a colleague or you want to come on as a client, is you're getting an experience. There's an experience here that is unmatched.
That's correct.
But that takes a lot of work.
It does.
We can't take it for granted, and when we do, that's when burns happen. That's when people start getting scorched, and we have to be careful, and we have to identify when we're getting off the tracks and steer us right back on.
Yep. I would agree.
So anyway, I think we've said it all now. Nance, are we good? How are we doing?
You guys are doing great.
Okay, so so again, please, if you like the content we're putting out, please subscribe to our channel. That would really go a long way for us. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or hit us up. Most of you guys are probably connected to us in some way, but if you want to shoot us an email, you can do that at info@magnatech.com. You can also like our Facebook, like our Instagram, like our Twitter. We're all over the place. So please reach out, stay connected with us, and hope to talk to you soon.
Bye.